Hi folks, this is International Master Bindi Cheng, and I'm going to do another cast. This is going to be another one of my friend's games. I actually just commented on his game yesterday, and his rating was actually much higher than this, like 2270 to 2280. Now it dropped a lot, so it shows you how fast chess can go. And we actually just come into this a bit late, because I sort of messed up the timing a bit. So let's just go through this opening pretty fast here. So e4, c5, my friend's white by the way, he's playing Finec. Okay, so e4, c5, this is a Sicilian Taimanov because of knight c6, and this is just a very basic opening, knight c3, queen c7, bishop e3, so this is what we call the English attack, and this is all standard theory right now, knight f6, castle, bishop e4, so now the threat that black wants to make is take on e4, but he's going to try to stop this first of all, with f3, and now, let's see what's going to happen. Now, I'm just going to make this bit bigger to make this fit. Okay, so f3, knight e7, knight e2, d5. That's interesting. a3, he did not take that. b4. Okay, so this happened really fast, and I'm actually at a loss for words because I'm not sure exactly what this idea is. It seems kind of off because the queenside pawns here, a3 and b4, are kind of weak, and white has already castled kingside, so that might be a bit of a problem. Plus, black got d5 in. Unless my friend does something quickly, it seems like it's just going to be slightly worse because d6 e4 is possible. Also, black has no, he doesn't really have to take on e4 in any case, but if white wants to take on d5, you're just going to release pressure on all these pieces, and okay, so knight e4, that's a very interesting move because now d6 e4 is definitely possible. But the question is, does black want to give the bishop there? So apparently he doesn't want to do that. He wants to play bishop c7, trap the bishops. This is an interesting move in case because if this ever gets done into an endgame, white's probably going to be fine, but doesn't want to exchange bishops. Okay, so d6 e4. A move here that I was looking at is actually queen e1, just attacking this queen. Another possibility is just to take on f6, but that's probably not so good because then queen takes d2 first, and trading out the bishops, trading out the pieces, and this will give black a bishop pair for the endgame. Oh, so he decides to take there first, and now he's going to take there? Okay, this is what I thought, but I don't think this is very good at all. Because what's going to happen now is, first of all, I think black should take back on f6. I think he's probably thinking about taking on f3, but I don't think that's such a good idea. Okay, so he takes on f6, taking on e4. So if you look at the material count, it's actually very even, but the problem is, as I've said before, is that black has the bishop pair, and that can prove to be troublesome in some cases. Plus, he's actually down a minute. So the first move he plays is bishop d7, basically attacking his knight, and knight goes c5, bishop c6, knight d4. So what white wants to do is actually he wants to take away one of the bishop pairs, because for those of you who don't know, bishop pairs in endgame or any kind of position where the position is open with all these like space for the pieces to move and all these pawns being exchanged and stuff, it's usually really good for the side with the bishop pair. Hence, why you want to eliminate it as soon as you can. So that's why knight d4 is played in this case. Another reason why knight d4 is played is just because you want to open up this bishop. So bishop b6. Okay, so I would say in this case black is probably slightly better because this pawn e4 is kind of weak, and also black has this square on e5 for his knight eventually. Because I'm thinking that white's just going to take on c6, and after knight takes c6, then knight takes b7. That's probably a good move. But oh, he takes on c5 first. Okay, well that's I actually didn't really see this move, but I think this is actually all right. When knight takes e7, bishop takes e7. Now we have a classic obstacle to bishop ending. This type of endgame is usually drawn because it's difficult for either side to make progress once all the pieces are exchanged. So, for example, if both the rooks are exchanged, it's probably going to be a draw. Hence, why black doesn't want to exchange rooks, because black is actually a bit better just because of the kingside weakness. I mean, the queenside weakness. So b4 pawn might come our attack in some case, but c3 is a good move. Just keeping pressure here. The move that white does not want to make is b5, because if he plays b5, then it gives all these dark square weaknesses for black. His bishop can get back to c5. But if you put the pawn b4, it controls c5 and a5. just controls the dark squares, therefore making it more difficult for black to maneuver his pieces around. So now that we got to endgame, it's time to evaluate the plans for both sides. So white has the queenside majority, which may come into play later on, but black does have the better pawn structure in certain cases. Although in this case, I'm not quite so sure, because even though black has a 4 versus 3 on the king side, it's difficult for black to make a pass pawn, whereas for white, it's easier. So I don't think a5 is actually that good of a move, or just maybe taking on b4 is not such a good move. It seems to me that white has a small edge in this endgame, because he can choose to change rooks and have no losing chances whatsoever, or he can try to keep them on. But the big problem in this type of position is that if white doesn't want to change rooks, then black is just going to be very, very developed and with an aggressive play here. Okay, so it takes on d8. I think rook c3 check first is good. This doesn't look quite so drawn, although I think it probably is still drawn. But black does have this very strong bishop, and okay, rook c1. He's gonna try to go to h1, pick up this pawn. A simple move here is just actually bishop d1, just stopping this rook from going anywhere. Or you can play a5. a5's okay. So I see the plan for white now. He's gonna try to utilize his queenside pawn majority and create a pass pawn, eventually queen. Now, bishop d6, forcing rook b3. I think it's probably forced. Otherwise, you can just lose his pawn. Rook d4 is also possible, but if you play rook b3, unfortunately, this is most likely going to be drawn endgame, just because there really is no way for white to promote the pawn. Okay, so exchange out the rooks, and now there's not much. I personally think that this should be drawn, although with this short time control, it's possible for either side to make mistakes, such as this. So my friend found out that the f7 pawn is undefended, and now he's just going to take it, because there's nothing black can do about it. Even after taking this pawn, though, it's still going to be difficult for white to prove an advantage here. And what other move can he do now? So I think taking on f5 is forced, because if you don't take on f5, well, black's just going to take on e4. So take on f5, take on f5, take there, f4, okay, take, and probably h4. Okay, h4, h5, okay. So now, these pawns are basically locked. They can't be taken. So black only has to worry about the queenside majority. And I don't even think it's possible for white to win this position, but I think he's going to try to flag black, because that's really his only way of winning this. Same for black, actually. He can't win this. He has to just sit around and do nothing. And that's exactly what both sides are doing. But so apparently black offered draw, and he did not take because he had more time, obviously. Okay, so b6 check, king b8, and king b5. Bishop here, a6, and a6. Okay, well, I think it's pretty obvious what's going to happen now. This is going to be drawn, directly drawn, but white's going to try to flag black, and most likely this is going to happen. Oh crap, maybe not. Can you see it? Oh, he's just going to let him sack it. Okay, so apparently this endgame is actually drawn as well, because this is the wrong color bishop. You need a dark square bishop to cover this square in order for this endgame to be winning. And my friend knows that, so he's just going to waste time and flag him. And I think it's just going to come to an end right about now. And that is the end. Okay, so it's a fairly interesting game, in that apparently neither side was really winning until the end. And oh, shamelessness. So that is very shameless, actually. Just flagging him in the draw position. So we're going to take a quick look at the game and figure out what happened. I also have Houdini on, which is a program they can use to analyze the games afterwards. But I'm not going to use it to analyze it, because that will make it a bit worse. I think human analysis is much more useful than computer analysis, because humans can actually tell like what's happening, rather than computers just calculating the whole moves out. So knight e7 was the first move. Usually the move played is knight e5. Knight e7 is also theoretical, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure in this case, after knight e7, knight e2 is probably not the move. But I guess it is possible, because Okay, well, after taking all these pieces, seems like, in my opinion, I thought that white was just slightly worse, but apparently, after changing out these pieces, this forced continuation, this should be quite drawn, but it actually was the case for the most part, but my friend decided to shamelessly flag him, which is definitely a strategy I would recommend using in Blitz, because this happens more often than you can imagine. And we'll go for the last couple moves, and yeah, this is drawn, because in another case, oh, and he's analyzed again. Okay, well, now that he started analyzing this, I think we're probably going to just stop this video now, because it's going to go on for too long. But thank you for viewing this, and next time I will try to cast someone else other than me or my friend's game. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.